Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in this today's session, we'll be diving into the topic that everyone must be familiar. So how to integrate Redis caching in the Spring Boot 3. So if your application is growing and lastly we have used like in-memory uh, caching, so where the data loss will be there on restarting the applications. So now if our application is running on the multiple instances, so Redis is the like right one, right solution. So in this particular videos, we will be first overview about the in-memory caching, then why not to use this in-memory cache, then why to use Redis cache, and we'll also go through like previous project setup that we have done for the local cache configurations. Then I will be guide you to this Redis Cloud consoles. So this is the Redis Cloud consoles will look like, and next will be like we'll be doing the configurations uh, on the application.properties files, where we'll be setting the username, password, hostname, postname. Then we'll be doing this cache configurations. We'll be using default configuration, and we'll be using some extra configuration that the Redis has to make it more useful in the industry level. So let's start with the video. So before starting with the video, I request you please subscribe to the channel where I make videos on Java, Spring Boot, microservices. So in our previous video, we have implemented like caching in the Spring Boot, and on there we have used in-memory caching, but default provided by the Spring Boot starter, and there we have used enable caching annotation, cacheable annotations, and the student HTTP used to enable this caching. So don't worry, I will also go through in details in this video as well. So if we see the project structures that we have followed earlier, we have used these student services, and in the student services we have used uh, cache put, cache evict, and um, cacheable, and in this cache application we have used this enable caching. So and in the pom.xml file we have used this spring boot starter jpa and h2 database and lombok. So these are the three dependencies is there. Like you can directly pull this particular repo, the previous repo, and on the top of that we'll be doing our changes. Now in this video, as we said, we will be specifically implemented redis cache in this particular applications. But why we are moving to this from in-memory cache to Redis cache? So what are the advantages we will discuss, and why the Redis cache, some internet use cases. Now, so let's go ahead with the video. So if we see why not to use like in-memory cache, because most developer like when we have started, we have used this concurrent hash map and the map cache. On the top of that, we are using this in-memory map to store the cache. So when like is as we also seen, like when the cache will disappears when this application is start, when we have create a new like rerun the restart this application, the other data will be lost in the cache. So next is that it have some heap limited heap size. So as we know, as the traffic grows, there will be a number of user grows, so cache data also will grows. So this includes that like memory pressure, like gb overhead, and just slow down the performance. And of course it is if we see, it is not suitable for any microservice based application. This is the monolithic applications. But when you use when we run our application in the multiple instances, so we should make sure like each instances, instead of having its own local cache, so it should be having distributed cache, so that each an application instance will be connecting to the distributed cache. And here will be using the Redis, and I will be showing you this Redis GUI also, as I said earlier. So, and it is an external and shared scalable, we can say, persistent cache provider. Now let's take in like a general example to understand like why should Redis used in this industry. industry level application. So imagine like you are building any e-commerce website, okay, e-commerce applications and the backend side. So every time the user open a product page and you fetch the product details from the DB, as the traffic increases, that fetching the product details from the DB will be slow down your application. Okay, so instead we can do we can use these Redis cases. So whenever the first request goes, it goes to a DB and the store the result in the Redis as well. So for the next any request, like next for example 1000 requests, so instead of directly fetching from the data, it will be fetched from the Redis. So this will drop the response times, and also the DB operation also reduces. So most of the companies like Flipkart, Swiggy, Zomato, Ola, they uses the Redis. So yeah, so if we see this in our previous examples, let me go through again how we implement the caching. Just I'll go to this overview of this project structure. So first go to this form.xml file. So we have one dependency a spring starter web. So we'll making a REST API and the spring data JPA also to connect our object to the database table, and we have used Lombok for the getter setter methods, and we have used H2 as an in-memory database. Okay, so these are the like basic dependency we have used. Next in this application.properties file, we have used like in-memory database, H2 database. We have set username, password, and this is the console. This is a basic setup. You guys know, or else you can watch my video on how to set up H2 database in the Spring Boot. You will get to know that more information. In this cache application, this is the main application where we have used enable caching. So it is came from spring framework.cache. So if you are still watching the video, I will request you please subscribe to the channel, and if you want any specific video on a specific topic, you can mention that on the comment section. Also, I will suggest you to code along with me, and if you face any issue, you can comment down. So next we have like one entity where we have like student, a table, and it has only ID, name, and email. So it is, and then we have one repository which is extending JPA repository. And next we have one controller. Before that controller, go to the one service class also. Then also we have one controller. So on the service class, just I have to add this repository, and we have used one add method, update method, find by ID for the student, and delete the student. So here we have used this cache port. You can get more details if you go to watch this previous video that I have shown earlier, this one, how to implement cache. You will get to know like more details of that. I'm just going through as an overview. Here the cache name we have put the student, and we are storing as an key as an ID, will be the student ID as an key. So these are the like basic structure. Go to this controller. We have like 4 API: add, update, get by ID, and delete the ID. So these are the basic structures. Now, now we need to enable. You need to use the Redis cache, right? So by default we have used the cache provided by the Spring Boot. Now we need to use Redis cache. So to use that, we need to add this Redis dependency. This is Spring Boot starter Redis dependency. So you can go to this ambient repository, search Spring Boot Redis. So you see this Spring Boot first one, Spring Boot starter data Redis. You can go there. You can copy anything, but don't put like version name. So we have copied it. Okay. Now we will go to this uh, form.xml file, and here we will be paste it. Now it is resolving the dependencies. After that we can get this Redis access, or we can use this Redis manager. So next is that okay, we have imported the dependency, but we need some storage where we can store our data on the Redis. So we need to go to this Redis console cloud. So click on this Redis console cloud, or you can directly search on Redis console cloud. So they will redirect you to API Redis lab. So here we need to create one account, and we need to create one a database also, uh, so that we can do all the Redis configuration on this file, on the properties application.properties file. All the Redis configuration we need to put there. So first I will create this account. So now we'll see this new database. So click on in new, then click on this, just try it, and here you can name your database test, and click on create. So here you will be getting a 30 MB size, so it is enough, and we can create only one database. So I have created one database. So create database. So now we see this database is creating. So till it is creating, we need some few configurations, like we need to connect to this particular database. So what we should record? We should record some username and password. So from the security, okay, go to this security, and we will be getting this username and password. And after that, after getting that username password, we should record this Redis port and the Redis URI, right? So let's go and set up that. So I have added these properties: redis.username for username, spring data redis.password for the password, and the host for the host, and port for the port. So let's go and take all these details. So default, we can copy this password, copy, and default username is the default default. So we'll go default default, and password we have just copied. And next is that port and the Redis URL. So go back, go to this top. So if we see that we have public endpoint, we copied it, and next we will see this how to connect to this Redis Insight in this web only. So we will paste it here, host, and that colon, and then the number, that was the port. So we should remove this colon, and the you can paste it port. Okay. Now everything is done from the configuration side, and now we need to do from the properties side. Now we need to configure this Redis. For that we need to use another configuration file. We can click on this connect. So if you click on this connect, there will be a good UI will be open, so that we can see our Redis dashboard on that particular UI. So if we see, it is, you can actually open in the desktop, you can download as well, but we will be opening in this web browser only. So then we can see this test database that we have created, Redis database, and we can see it on here. And whatever the cache it is there, you can see that. So as of now there is no cache, so we did not see here. So once we run the application, we can get to know. So before that, before running, so we have configured this host port password. Now we have launched this Redis Insight web as well. Now create a cache config, which will be a configurations file, where we'll be configuring this default config, and we will be uh, configuring this cache manager, Redis cache manager. So let me do cache manager and Redis cache configuration. We have used this default cache configuration, and as of now we have mentioned that prefix cache name with. So the cache name that will be start with the hyphen Redis, and we have built this Redis cache manager, and with this default configurations, and the Redis connection factory. Let's go and start the applications. So to see whether we are able to uh, get the values on the Redis or not, and also uh, we can we can view this on the Redis GUI. So as we see this application started, and we can see this H2 console is available. Okay, so application is started now. So let's go to the student controller, and hit this add request. So I'll go to this add API, then hit this send. So thing is that some error came. So let's see what is the error. So it is saying save a student. So student is saved and database called is happened. So student is there, but it is uh, not able to record a serialization payload, but because we receive an object for the type student. So actually we are using Redis. The Redis store only as an byte stream. So to make it serialization work, so we need to add a few more dependencies, a few more configuration. So let me add that. So I have added this serialize the key and with a standard string Redis serializer, and we have serialized this value. Value means this object as an generic Jackson to Redis serializer. There is a one the fields configuration I have added, and like entry TTL. So after 10 seconds, and the cache will be deleted. So it is the time to leave for this particular cache. So let me restart this application. Now we see this application got started. So go again to this post API and click on this send. So if we see this one record is inserted and with the class student name and email. So this record is inserted. So it is every 5 seconds it is being deleted every 10 seconds. So it is not refresh. If I refresh it, it will be removed. So if you see this, we refresh this and it got deleted. So that's and how to get these details. So let me add one more records, and if you use the get API, so there is one get API. So let's get this third. Now it will be getting this result. Okay, like that it will go. So that will again got deleted. So because that yeah, so it is there. So after 3 seconds it will be getting deleted. So now it's got deleted. It is showing some error. Q the save node does not exist. So we have just now called this. So if you go to this logs, uh, so now it is calling this database call to get a student, because this on this Redis it's got deleted. So that's all about the video. So if you like the video, I will suggest you to give any feedback and let me know in the comment section on which topic I should make videos on the next time. So thank you for watching.